Every AI deck that lands on your desk has a number that looks fantastic. Most of those numbers are fiction. Here is how the best CFOs find the one or two that are real. The whole job comes down to this. Rank every AI proposal on three things at once: clarity of the return, readiness of the use case, and risk if it goes wrong. Then fund a few deep instead of many shallow. I'm Murray Newlands, partner at IASV Seed Ventures and founder of Open Future Forum. Open Future Forum is a private executive community in Silicon Valley that runs small off-the-record dinners for C-suite executives. Inside it, I co-chair the CFO Executive Forum, an invitation-only group for senior finance leaders. So here is the part of the modern CFO job nobody warned you about. You are the referee for the whole company. Marketing wants its platform, sales wants its agents, engineering wants its compute. They all arrive with a clean deck and a number that looks good, and you have to decide which are real, which pay back, and which quietly stop getting funded. Here is how the finance leaders who do this well actually sort it. Filter 1. Clarity of the return. Most AI proposals fail this immediately, and that is useful information. If the team cannot tell you what the project replaces, what it removes, and how it pays back, it is not ready to fund, no matter how exciting it sounds. A clear proposal says, this removes this much manual work, it costs this much all in, and it pays back in this long. A vague proposal says, this will transform how we work. Fund the first, send the second back to get specific. The vagueness is not a slide problem. It usually means the thinking is not done. Filter 2. Readiness of the use case. AI projects die in the gap between a clean demo and messy real work. So ask whether this use case is one where the technology is genuinely ready or one where it breaks on the edge cases. The strongest candidates are structured, repetitive, and checkable, where you can measure the result against a clear standard. The weakest are ambiguous, high judgment, or where a wrong answer is hard to catch. Fund where the technology is ready, not where it would be most impressive if it worked. Readiness predicts production, ambition does not. Filter 3. Risk if it goes wrong. An AI project is not just a return and a cost. It is an exposure. What happens if the system is confidently wrong? What can it touch? What is the data exposure when it talks to an outside model? A high-return project with a catastrophic failure mode can be worse than a modest one that is safe. Sitting next to your CISO, you weigh the downside, not just the upside. The projects worth funding are the ones where the return is clear, the use case is ready, and the worst case is survivable. Now the discipline that separates real AI programs from the pilot graveyard. Fund a few deep, not many shallow. The failure I see most is pilot purgatory. Dozens of small experiments running, none of them load-bearing, none generating real return, all of them consuming attention and creating the comfortable illusion of progress. Spreading the budget thin across 20 pilots feels prudent and is actually the opposite, because none of them gets enough weight to reach production. Take one or two high-value, well-understood use cases and fund them all the way into real production, with a named owner accountable for the outcome. One agent doing real work teaches you more and returns more than 20 experiments that never ship. Depth beats breadth. Then there is the governance layer you increasingly own. Who owns this once it is funded? A specific human, not a committee. What is the data and contract exposure? What is the kill switch if it misbehaves? Funding an AI project without naming an owner is how a company ends up with systems running that nobody answers for. You are well placed to enforce that because you already enforce accountability on every other dollar. And here is the input a spreadsheet cannot give you. A peer who already funded the same kind of project. When you are deciding whether to back an AI investment, the most useful thing is to hear from a CFO at a comparable company who already made that bet. Did it pay back? What broke? Would they do it again? That benchmark cuts through the optimism in the deck in front of you faster than any analysis because it is real and it is unfiltered. The vendor's reference customer was handpicked to say nice things. A peer in your own seat will tell you the truth. That peer benchmark is exactly what the CFO Executive Forum provides. Finance leaders compare real funding decisions off the record with no vendor steering the conversation. You can ask what they backed, what they killed, and why. 2 more disciplines before you go. The first is the willingness to kill a project you already funded. Funding is not a one-time yes. It is the start of a relationship you have to keep auditing. A lot of finance leaders apply real rigor at the approval gate, then let funded projects run on momentum long after it is clear they are not paying back, because stopping feels like admitting a mistake. Set a checkpoint at the start, a date by which the project has to show the return you funded it for, and actually stop it if it does not. Fund with discipline but never kill with discipline, and you end up with a portfolio of zombie projects eating budget and attention. The second is sequencing. Treat your AI projects as a portfolio, not a list of independent bets. Your first one should often be chosen partly for what it teaches you, not only for its return. A well-understood, lower-risk use case that gets all the way into production teaches your organization how to deploy, govern, and measure AI, and that learning makes every later bet more likely to land. So the right first bet is sometimes the one with the clearest path to production rather than the highest theoretical return, because it builds the muscle. Funding AI well is less like picking winners from a menu and more like building a capability in the right order. So how do CFOs decide which AI projects to fund? Rank on clarity of return, readiness of use case, and risk if it goes wrong. Kill the vague ones early. Fund one or two deep instead of many shallow. Name an owner for each. And pressure test every proposal against a peer who already made the bet. Do that, and your AI budget produces results instead of pilots. Open Future Forum is a private executive community in Silicon Valley that runs small, off-the-record dinners for C-suite executives. Over 400 events since 2021, bringing together senior executives, founders, and investors. If you are a CFO or senior finance leader weighing AI funding decisions, you can request an invitation to the CFO Executive Forum through Open Future Forum. I'm Murray Newlands from Open Future Forum. See you in the next briefing.